Welcome to the Fallout Zone, a place where we explore tales of just desserts based on true stories. From office backstabs and broken relationship trusts, we have what you'd like. Sit and enjoy our next tale from Kai, a savvy business investor that plays nobody's fool.
Trust is my stock in trade. I don't sell dreams. I build things. Projects, portfolios, and reputations, my own included. In my world, real estate, early stage investing, syndicate deals, your word is your brand. Your handshake might be worth more than your lawyer's signature. So when someone tries to hijack your name, that's not just theft, that's war. And that's exactly what Lance tried to do. He didn't come at me with threats or brute force. He came with polish, with perfect diction, with expensive shoes, and just enough humility to make you feel like trusting him was your idea. I met him through a former client, a startup founder had helped fund years ago. He introduced Lance as someone I should know, not a hard sell, just a nudge. Said Lance was doing interesting work in offshore luxury assets, whatever that means. Lance pitched me on his fund over drinks at a rooftop bar in Hollywood. He had the kind of presence that feels curated, every detail intentional. He talked about exclusive properties in Thailand and Costa Rica, backed by anonymous investors in high-yield leases. No public footprint, no noisy marketing, just clean private profits. I didn't commit. That's not how I operate. I told him I'd take a look, maybe pass it to a few trusted people. That was enough to keep the door open. For the next few weeks, he stayed in my orbit, showed up at mixers, commented on my posts, even sent over a white paper that looked like it had been ghostwritten by someone who actually knew finance. He played the long game. And I'll admit, he almost had me curious. But then something strange happened. One of my clients, Darren, a cautious guy I've worked with for over a decade, called me in a panic, said Lance had reached out directly, asking him to verify some wire instructions for a pre-cleared investment. Darren said Lance told him I'd approved it personally. That was a lie, and a dangerous one. Because the second my name gets attached to a transaction I didn't authorize, it's not just awkward, it's exposure. If Darren wires that money and something goes wrong, I'm on the hook. Not legally, maybe, but reputationally, absolutely. I called Lance, calmly, asked for clarification. He laughed it off, said Darren misunderstood, blamed a new assistant, blamed a typo, blamed a bank, but his voice cracked, just a little. Enough for me to know I'd touched the edge of something he wasn't prepared to defend. I hung up and got to work. I pulled every email, reread every message, looked at every sentence through a new lens. And what I saw wasn't a fund, it was a framework. A framework built to con. I could have walked, cut ties, worn my circle, and let the guy fade into obscurity. But that's not how I'm wired. Because this wasn't just about money. This was about my name, my reputation, the foundation of everything I built. And he tried to use it like a discount code. So I decided to hit back, quietly, surgically. I created a shell company, Zenith Equities Group, shiny branding, clean domain, fake team bios, LinkedIn presence. I built the illusion from the ground up, like flipping a condo before anyone's lived in it. Then I reached out to Lance from my real profile, told him I'd come into unexpected liquidity, sold a couple assets, and now I had funds to park. But I didn't want it tied to my name. Too much visibility, too many watchful eyes. I told him Zenith was my blind trust, said I was using it to invest quietly. He bit, fast. He said we could structure a deal under Zenith's umbrella, offered to handle compliance. He even drafted up a contract giving him full operational authority over the trust. I let him think he was pulling me in, but really, he was walking into mine. Because once you put intent to deceive on paper, once you agree in writing to take control of a fund that doesn't exist, that's wire fraud. And I had him. But I didn't stop there. I wired him money, just $25,000, enough to make it real, enough to trigger greed. He thanked me like I was a mark, sent me a bottle of whiskey I didn't open, told me the real round would open the following Friday, said he had other whales lined up, that this was the beginning of something massive. What he didn't know was that every email, every message, every call was being recorded, documented, packaged. I had one call, one perfect call, where he said, "I'm authorized to act in your interest under the trust. We'll move funds through the offshore channel like we discussed." That line alone was worth more than the $25,000 I sent him. I took everything, documents, voice recordings, call logs, and handed them to someone I knew in financial crimes enforcement. No public report, just a quiet file pushed across a secure server. Then I waited. He invited me to a closing dinner in Vegas, said we were celebrating. I went, I shook his hand, told him I was excited for what came next. He smiled like he'd won, and 2 weeks later, he was indicted. Wire fraud, securities fraud, conspiracy, mail fraud, the whole circus. Turns out I wasn't his only play, just as clean as Mark, but I was the one who finished the game. I've told this story a few times, never publicly, not in detail, but enough to let people know I'm not someone you steal from, not someone you frame, and definitely not someone you use. The irony is, I never really wanted revenge. I wanted control. I wanted to protect what I'd built, but the more I dug, the more I realized that guys like Lance don't stop. They don't get scared. They get successful, unless someone sets a trap and lets them walk into it. Was what I did legal? Mostly. Was it ethical? Depends on who you ask. But it worked. And when it was done, I didn't feel proud. I felt balanced. A couple months later, I got an email from a woman in Boca Raton. Said she and her husband were about to invest 6 figures with Lance. Saw my name listed in a side note in his pitch deck. Googled me. Found my email. Her message just said, "Thank you for whatever you did. You saved us." That one line, that's all I needed. The money I sent, consider it a bounty, because now Lance is a ghost in the system. No one will trust him again. And me, my name is still mine. People think revenge is a blaze of glory, a scream, a punch, a courtroom meltdown. But real revenge, it's cold, quiet, strategic. It's smiling while you build a stage they'll hang themselves on. It's making them believe they won until they don't. Lance didn't count on me being more dangerous than he was. That was his mistake. The last one he'll ever make.
Thank you for watching The Fallout Zone. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.